Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are doing a Easter glitter fade design and we're going to be doing this with acrylic in real time, so I hope you all enjoy watching. For today's design I'm going to be using a CJP cherry blossom. My clear acrylic however is Clarity from Diamond Nail Supplies. I don't usually mix acrylic brands, however lately I've just been kind of trying to use up what I have, and this is actually my favorite clear acrylic. We're also going to be using this beautiful glitter from Charlie's Nail Art. To top coat I'm going to be using my Kiki London No Wipe rubber top coat. I opted for a rubber top coat today because we are going to be applying some crystals. But let's jump into the acrylic application. So as I said, I've left all of this in real time. Hopefully it helps a little bit because I know I get requests to do real time videos, but I like, if I'm doing a full set, it's just going to make a super long video. So I have done a couple of acrylic designs and we're just going to do one now in them, but they are in real time. So as you can see, with my first bead of acrylic, I place it down fairly close to the cuticle area, and then using the very tip of my brush, I'm nudging it up, right up, as close to that cuticle area as I can get it. If you do accidentally touch the cuticle, then you can wipe around it like I'm doing here. And then I use the belly of my brush as well to pat this acrylic out to make sure that it's going all the way to each side wall. And when you're working around those side walls as well, you want to be very careful that that acrylic isn't touching the skin. So you can see there, that was fairly quick and simple to do. As long as you're working with a smaller bead of acrylic at the cuticle area, I personally find that you've got a lot more control over the product. Then I'm going to come in with a second bead of acrylic because I want to build up the apex a little bit more. So as you can see, I'm tapping this up and blending it in to the previous bead of acrylic and then just blending it down. Now because I'm going to be doing a glitter fade, I decided I wanted to leave that tip clear of any product. So I'm not taking this acrylic all the way down to the tip of the nail. I'm just kind of making sure it blends out and feathers out a little bit so there's not a harsh line where it finishes. And I do find this particular shade from CJP absolutely beautiful to work with. It has a really lovely consistency. To apply my glitter, I've picked up a teeny tiny wet bead of acrylic and then dipped it into my raw glitter. And as you can see, my brush is very wet. I've left it with quite a bit of monomer on it. This way I'm easily able to move that glitter around into place without it sticking to my brush. And I'm gently fading this back because, like I said, we are doing a glitter fade. Now this particular glitter mix has it's got quite a few chunky shapes in there. So we've got some little Easter chicks feet and we've got some little bunny heads. It's a really fun glitter mix. There are also some large dots in there as well. But then it has a very fine iridescent glitter base. So it doesn't necessarily need to have a coloured acrylic underneath it. But if you popped a coloured acrylic underneath this, it would really change the effect that the iridescent glitter gives off. So it's really versatile in my opinion. It works with whatever colour you pair it with. It's such a beautiful mix. As you see, I've only got a little bit left because it's one that I use quite a lot in the spring and Easter time. So what I'm doing here is I'm still focusing on blending some of those finer glitter pieces back, and then using my wet brush I have just been picking up some of the larger chunkier pieces and placing them down so that we've got a more full-on glitter coverage. It does look a little subtle, and that's sometimes why it's nice to pop a colour underneath. It does depend on the effect that you're going for. I wanted this to look quite soft and subtle, but popping say a white underneath this would bring out the glitter a little bit more. And if you want it to be more creative, you could definitely pop a colour underneath. It works really well with like light greens and lilacs. What I'm doing here is just making sure I'm happy with how all of that glitter is placed, and then I'm going to leave this to dry before I come in and encapsulate, because sometimes if you encapsulate whilst your glitter is still wet, it's not set down in place. So what ends up happening is it moves around whilst you're encapsulating. So just give it a few minutes to fully set, and then I'm coming in with a large to medium size bead of clear acrylic, pressing that back and blending it back a little bit, and then I'm going to flip my brush around and blend this back a little bit more just to make sure that it's covering that larger chunky little bunny head that we've got in the center of the nail there. And then I'm gently pressing and patting and basically walking this bead of acrylic down towards the tip of the nail. As you can see here, as it's coming over the sides a little bit and pressing it in so that product is staying towards the center of the nail. This is going to really help you when it comes to filing as well, because if you keep your shape with your acrylic, then you have less finish filing to do. And all I'm doing is gently nudging this acrylic to where I want it to go, using mainly the belly of my brush. And here I'm just going to do some nice light feathery strokes as it's starting to set, just to get an overall even application, again because this is going to reduce the amount of finish filing you have to do. So here I'm blending that acrylic back. It has already started to polymerize, so it's not actually moving the acrylic as such around, it's just blending and smoothing it back. The little pat there at the tip of the nail, this again just really helps with the finish filing because there's less acrylic to file down. Now with this nail, because the Cherry Blossom Blush pink nude colour that we used at the cuticle area is a core powder, it is a strength powder. So like I said, I added that extra bead to build up my apex a little bit more, but it just wasn't built up as much as I wanted it to be, and I want to encapsulate that fade in a little bit more. So I am coming in with another bead of clear acrylic, but using the very tip of my brush, I'm really thinning this out at that cuticle area because I don't want to end up with a too thick and bulky cuticle. It is already on the thick side a little bit, but we can reduce this down with filing anyway. But you can see here I'm really pointing the finger down, really getting my brush behind that bead of acrylic so that I'm pushing that bead to build up the apex area a little bit more rather than encapsulating that cuticle area, because it really isn't needed. Once I had fully encapsulated this nail, I did leave it to set, and then off camera I done all of the filing, buffing, all that jazz, and we're now jumping to a top coat. So I'm using the Kiki London No Wipe rubber top coat. I've opted to use the rubber top coat because I like to apply my crystals into this top coat. It's my favourite way of applying crystals. If you're not applying crystals, then you could just use a regular no wipe top coat because you wouldn't need the extra strength of the rubber top coat when you're doing an acrylic set really. So I'm just applying a thin coat of this. It is slightly thicker than a regular top coat, but like I said, I love it for applying my crystals. Then here I've got a mix of crystals. So I've got these opal ones are from CJP, and then the pink mix I think is from Scatter Crystals. I have had these in my drawer for ages. I'm not actually even sure if Scatter Crystals is still around. These are Swarovski crystals, and I know a while ago there was this big thing where Swarovski stopped selling crystals for nail techs or something. I don't know the full story because I am not a big crystal user. However, I have a drawer full of crystals and I'm really trying to push myself to use some of them, otherwise they're just sitting there going to waste. But as I said in my previous video, when it comes to crystals, I'm happy with my application of how to get them to stay in place. I just struggle with the placement and creating sort of designs. So today I pushed myself a little bit. I have done this crystal placement before, so it's not exactly a too hard one, but I don't usually use as large crystals up at the cuticle area for it, but I wanted it to look quite bold. So I've popped that largest crystal in the center of the nail, and then I've sort of gone out in sizes, so I've got a bit smaller as we've gone to the edges. Then I've popped another more medium-sized crystal in front of that pink one, and then we're just coming in and filling that in at the sides with some smaller ones. So the lighter pink crystals are actually from Kiki London, and these are some of my favorite crystals to use. They're not Swarovski, but I think they are glass, and they are really, really pretty. There's lots of colors to choose from, and they come in mixed sizes as well. And for someone like myself, the crystal novice, it's brilliant having crystals in mixed sizes, because this way you're able to create placement a lot easier when you've got a bunch of mixed sizes available. The great thing about them is they do come with the sizes, so you buy a pack and the sizes are all separated in the pack. I've just mixed them together because that's my personal preference. Once you are happy with how your crystals are placed, you do need to pop this in to cure for 60 seconds, and this, guys, is the finished result. So I really hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, as it really helps my channel. And if you are feeling extra generous, please leave me a comment below and let me know how you're doing or what you thought of the design. And if you aren't already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscription button. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.